Hello ladies, blokes and non-binary folks, it's Ant here, and I'm getting on with another one of these videos. I haven't done one for a few months. In fact, the last one was when I destroyed Beast Wars Randy here. I say I destroyed him. He broke during transformation, but to be honest, that one snap was, a result. This is a best of the year list, and these two guys aren't on the list, because, one of them's pretty average and the other one is a collapsible nightmare. But why don't we talk about my favourite figures of the year? And these aren't the figures that came out this year. In fact, I was planning to do a top 10, and I think if I removed the figures that came out in previous years, this would probably be a bit more like a top 10. I'd be able to make a top 10, but I wanted to talk about the cool bots I got that aren't part of the top 10. That didn't come out this year, rather. This is unscripted, can you tell? It's going to be a top 15. In no particular order as such. I'm not really one for doing the order thing, because then I have to make decisions and it hurts my brain and I pick something above the other and then a little while later I'll regret it. But let's just say there's quite a few that you might think would be on this list but aren't. I'm looking at them over there, and I probably should have put them on the list, but tough. We're going to start with a tiny guy though. First up is Dr. Wu's Sword Dancer. This is a third-party figure. One of only 2 third-party figures I own. The other one is in this set. But this little lad, he's a little Generations, blaster compatible set of cassettes. They turn into a jet and a tank based on Slam Dance from Generation 1. He's really friggin' cool, and you know what? He's a lot of fun. He's articulated like crazy. It's the sort of thing I think I'd like to see Hasbro do in the mainline. They could do this as a core class figure for sure. They'd probably reduce the articulation, not give him so many guns. He's got a lot of guns on him. But I could totally see this being a core class figure, but this thing is only like 25 quid. Got it off Kapow Toys. Dr. Wu's Sword Dancer. Good lad. Give him a go. There's another one as well based on Squawk Box, but I haven't got that. Check him out. He's got really good articulation on him, this lad. He's all fully elbows and wrist swivels and stuff like that. Check him out. Next up is Alternator's Ravage. This friggin' beautiful example of an Alternator's figure. This Ravage is one of the only few Alternators to get 2 different figures. One of them being like a stood-up robot form, which I've never really been too keen on, but it's like in Beast Wars, isn't it? He has the robot form in that. But this one, I saw this at TF Nation at the Toy Food table. They had a whole bunch of alternators there, for about 15, 20 quid each, which is a bargain. And yeah, I just saw this one for 20 quid, and I was like, yeah, I'm having that. There's quite a few TF Nation figures in this collection here, because I really did pick up some gems at TF Nation. But I've always wanted this lad. He's a beauty. Absolutely fantastic. And the figure is it's got a couple of scuff marks on the car mode, but it's they're not really, not really bad scuff marks or anything. It looks like a figure that's just been on display for years and never touched. It wasn't even dusty. It was well looked after. Whoever had this before looked after it, and it's a fantastic, and his mouth opens. See? Good figure. And, this is something I'd love to see in Transformers a lot more, is vehicles that turn into animals. I need to get some RID 2015 figures. I've only got Thunderhoof, but he scratches that itch. I like that. I need a bisque. That's what I need. I need a bisque. That's Alternator's Ravage. Really good. Don't go getting into alternators, because I don't want them to be expensive. How about we do a couple of Stunticons? First up, I've got Dragstrip here, Legacy Dragstrip. Really, really surprised with this figure. I had been collecting some of the Combiner Wars lads to try and make my first Combiner Wars Gestalt, so I was kind of got used to that being the modern way of doing combiners. But I tell you what, these Stunticons, these feel like proper legit figures in their own rights. They don't feel like they've been compromised for a combined mode. And this figure's fantastic. The way he friggin' folds up into his Formula 1 car mode, and there's zero sign of a robot on the underside. This is the underside, and his back, that's the underside, and there's no sign of robot in there. The same sort of basic transformation setup is used on Dead End here. But Dead End doesn't quite make it on the list. He's alright. He's got a couple of things where stuff doesn't tab in right and all that, but he's pretty good. I've taken apart what I had built up of Menasor before I got Dead End, and I've decided I'm going to wait until I've got Breakdown in my collection to actually fully combine Menasor and have that as my display piece. The only thing is, Wild Rider was I didn't think Wild Rider was all that good. A lot of people seem to really like that one, but I found him incredibly fiddly, and I don't like how some parts tab together. Very awkward, and Breakdown's the same figure, so it's a bit of a shame. They've done a recolour of this already as well, which is pretty neat. I wonder if we're going to get a full G2 Stunticon lineup. That would be pretty neat. I guess I ought to follow up Dragstrip with his boss man, Motormaster here. This figure is properly good. This is like a nice, dense, bulky, like Voyager class figure. And I know he's Commander class, but he does come with a massive trailer. And that trailer, I've got a few trailers this past year. I got like Laser Optimus Prime, his trailer. I got Holiday Optimus Prime this year. They're light and empty and hollow feeling. The trailer that comes with this is like incredibly dense feeling, because it has to do so much. You can't put anything in it, but the figure itself, this is a beauty. Friggin' articulation up the wazoo, beautiful transformation. Like, the legs do so much, and the way, like, these parts, they're like the front of the truck, and then you turn them around, and there's like a mini version of the truck there to make his little truck shoot feet. I do wish something could have been done about the grills here. That's the only thing that really bothers me. That, and also I can never remember how to get him into the combined form for the chest. It's really weird and wacky the way it all sort of folds up and comes together. It's got loads of dust on him. But yeah, Motormaster is a joy. Well worth having in your collection. A bit expensive at Commander class prices, but really, really nice. Grab one. Or don't. Right, let's get this lad out of the way. This is the first third-party figure I brought. This is Red Buzzer from Fans Hobby. I've already done a review on him, so feel free to go watch that review to find out exactly what I think about this lad. He's great, though. He's a properly good figure. And I've just noticed that Kapow Toys have Minerva on there now in stock. I should probably get Nightbeat to go with this guy, but they've got Minerva, and that's good enough for me. And to be honest, I prefer the look of Minerva over Nightbeat. So I might just get that one to go with it, and then I'll just have to get Cap, and I'll have the Autobot Headmaster Juniors collected up in Masterpiece style form. But yeah, this figure's great. His Headmaster is fantastic, but probably good. And he does this. He has the little stats thing inside his chest. How good's that? That's fantastic. But anyway, Fans Hobby Red Buzzer. Phew, good shit. Next up is a figure that's been a little bit of, I wouldn't say holy grail, but one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I have to get that someday. That's definitely on the list to get. And it's Generation 1 Clench. Or is this Colossus? Who knows? You never know. But I brought this off of that Few from Few's Awesome Transform Reviews. He put it up on Twitter for a silly low price, because he's put it up low price because, it's got some damage on it, stickers are a bit worn. I managed to break a little bit of the clear plastic off the bottom. Whoops, sorry for you. But you know what, this figure is fantastic. When I was a kid, a couple of my friends had the other figures from this Decepticon lineup that have all these cool colours, the pinks and the greens and the dark blues and stuff. I remember the Jet one, can't remember his name right now. That figure was amazing. And this thing is like, this is a G1 figure. He has elbows, his shoulders rotate, everything. He's got like proper articulation. Like, the only thing he's missing that would make him feel like a modern figure is like a bit of ankle tilt, and his head can't turn. Like, if he had that'd feel like a modern figure. And honestly, why isn't there a modern version of this guy? One of the coolest looking designs in Transformers. And that light piping, you can see it popping off here already. It's catching the light from the front and everything, but it's beautiful. Lime green transparent plastic is needed more. I am thinking I might try and do some repair jobs on this. I might try and keep an eye on eBay for junkers of this guy and try and like repair the leg that I broke, replace the stickers. I need toy hacks to do stickers for this lad. Hey Cam, who follows me on Twitter on Wild Wars Hack. Follow me at Wild Wars Hat on Twitter. Can you get some stickers for Clench here? That'd be lovely. Yeah. Next up is another TF Nation pickup. When I went to TF Nation, I had this idea of a bunch of little figures that I wanted to make sure I got certain things from certain collections that I had to pick up, and one of them was that I wanted a Spy Changer, and I got Prowl 2 from the Robots in Disguise series. This thing has stayed on my desk in between Black Zarek's legs for since August. Since I got it. Absolutely fantastic figure. I've got the shotgun. I've got the shotgun and everything. And it just, like, these lads, they just transform like that and you're done. And they roll along super fast. Honestly, get yourself some Spy Changers, man. They're a bit expensive right now, I think, for what they are. I'm seeing them on eBay for like 15, 20 quid sometimes. They're cheaper little ones. They're Hot Wheels size, so they should be like, 5 quid. But, keep an eye out. There's lots of variations on them, though. I did try to get a transparent red Wars at one point. but got outbid at the last second. The bid shot up miles. This guy, Proud 2, little transforming spy changer. I don't know how many of these I'd want to collect, but just having one on your desk is fantastic. These things are so easy to just flip back and forth while you're thinking. Fantastic figures. 10 out of 10. Hot off the presses, a brand new figure that's only just come out, and in a lot of places hasn't come out yet, is Legacy Evolution Scraphook. I'm not just boasting that I've got this figure so quickly. I ordered it from Hasbro Pulse, and it arrived just before Christmas. Thank you, Hasbro. That was very nice of you. Can you send me Leo Prime now? Anyway, this thing's great. Like, actually genuinely great. It kind of, you know, like how you had the fossilizers and the weaponizers and all that sort of stuff, where they would all come apart to transform. And I've had a few of them, and they didn't really do it for me, and I ended up selling them. And it's not just because of the parts forming side of it, but I just kind of didn't really enjoy them as characters and figures. They were kind of like blank slate looking dudes. This guy's fantastic. He has got one hell of a head sculpt. Let's do a close-up. Look at that head sculpt. That head sculpt's fantastic. He's got an eye patch and like a little mustache thing going on. Top quality stuff. But yeah, absolutely superb figure. There's a little bit of parts for me stuff where you have to take these bits off. I mean, you could leave them where they are, but you can transform him entirely just like this. Just that's actually, like, his guns are in here. They fit in seamlessly. That's some of the best weapon storage I've seen on a figure. But his guns are kind of tiddly and small. The gimmick that's going to come apart with this lad, though, is that when you have the other Junkions, you can pop parts off and swap arms and legs around and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see how perfectly compatible they are with each other. But this guy, just on his own, when you plug him onto other figures, it combines together, like, it looks seamless. I did like a little bit with Holiday Optimus Prime, put him on his shoulders, and he had, like, big old, put his legs on his shoulders, like shoulder stacks, and it worked really well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of these. I need to get myself a Junkie, because now I think kind of want just, like, a whole bunch of Junkions, I think. There's a motorbike one coming as well, which is, like, a deluxe class motorbike, rather than Voyager, like Junk-Heap and all that. But, yeah, Scraphook. Fantastic. Give him a go. The vehicle mode is lovely as well. Probably good stuff. There is a bit of weirdness with his elbows. They pop off of these tiny little, you can see that they're like held on with a clip. They have a habit of popping off when you turn them, because I think there's a bit too much friction in there in the actual elbow swivel. But it's fine. You can pop them back on straight away. Hopefully they don't bend out of shape too much. But yeah, Scraphook. Really good. Speaking of figures I got just before Christmas, Holiday Optimus Prime. This is really good. If they're going to use this mould for more Optimus Primes, or maybe even other characters, like, you know, I'm just spitballing here, but, you know, I mean, the obvious one everyone goes for is that sort of Commander Optimus Prime, whatever it was called. I can't remember what it was called. The one that was like Generation 2 Optimus Prime. But, you know, I kind of think you could rework this into a Thunderclash or something. Team it up with a variation on Menasau's trailer. But, yeah, this is good. It's got the holiday spirit going on. The greens are fantastic. You can't really see how good the greens are because I've got a bit of red light going on right now. Head sculpt is some gorgeous Optimus Prime stuff. And he has like a little Santa belt buckle. Isn't that cute? But, yeah, the transformation on this thing is fantastic. I just found myself just, like, transforming it back and forth a few times. The way the legs work is insanity. Like, there's all these pieces that just pop out all over the place and it all folds up, and, like, most of the vehicle mode is here. The entire back trailer part is here, which is unusual for Optimus Prime. It's usually his legs, usually the other way around. I would be a bit concerned about all this being clear plastic and quite a lot of the legs being clear plastic. I'm fine with that. I don't tend to break the clear plastic on figures too much, apart from Clench that I just showed you. But, you know, he's good. He's a good lad. Anyway, yeah, check out Holiday Optimus Prime or one of the remolds that is inevitably going to happen soon. So, yeah. Now, here's a lad I had no intentions of getting at the start of this year, but I'm really glad I did. Sixo shared a photo of this version of Megatron. It's a premium version on Classics Megatron, which is a figure that people seem to always malign a whole bunch, but I think he's great. And he comes in a 2-pack with a variation of Classics Optimus Prime. This one, to be exact, I had him right on the desk. I should have just grabbed him. But this one, he doesn't quite make the list, but he's really good. But this figure's fantastic. I don't know why people had such issues with Classic Megatron. Granted, the lime green version is a bit maybe like too garish for most people, although I love that. But I really love the red, gold and black going on here. This looks regal as flip. Absolutely fantastic figure. The transformation is insane. Like, actually weird and bizarre how it all folds up into the gun bits at the back. The transparent red is just, just beautiful. beautiful transparent red. A lot of people seem to prefer the grey recolour of this guy that came out in Japan, but nah, this is the one for me. Really nice, properly good stuff. And I was amazed. I got that double pack for 55 quid, and it was still like sealed shut. Felt kind of bad about opening it, but not for long, because I had an awesome figure to play with. Okay, top 5 time. So, who's coming in at number 5? This is actually top 5. I planned this out, sort of. Number 5, Masterpiece Getsui. The second of the train bots, but the first of the train bots on this list. The other Shuki's on here as well. But Masterpiece Getsui. When I got this figure, the first couple of transformations, I was like, I don't know if I quite like this, lad. There was a couple of weird things on it, but the more you transform it, the more you friggin' like it. Things like the depth of the legs becomes less of an issue for me, because he can pose for days. And as you may notice, he's got a hip tilt. Only goes one direction. It's the ankle tilt for the combined mode. I did intend to do a review of this guy, but as you may have noticed, I didn't. But honestly, he's great. There's just minor little things that bothered me with him. Like, I feel like, you got options with this. You can fold it down like that. That's fine. But that is accurate to how it's supposed to be. They're definitely going for like sort of modernised take on the toy, but bringing in a little bit of the cartoon aesthetic with these guys. I do think Raiden is probably going to look a little bit of a mess, but who cares? It's really not. It's just so good. The feet are weird. They're tiny, but you think they wouldn't give you much support, but then this part acts as a heel. It's fine. Once you get your head around the transformation, it's great. He's not made of as much clear plastic as Shuki, which will probably, make some people happy. But yeah, fantastic. And he's sassy. Speaking of Getsui, here's Getsui. I've done a review of this figure already, so you can see that I, do really enjoy this guy. And I transformed him earlier today to get him ready for this. Get him all sorted out, and it felt intuitive. I had a couple of little stumbling blocks. There is moments with this, like unhooking the feet from here during transformation, that stress me out a little bit because it takes a little bit too much force for my liking. But I'm wondering how the rest of them are going to be, because I think Getsui is going to be the one who's going to have the most clear plastic on him, for sure, I think. The other guys are kind of more industrial, apart from his brother, Yukikaze, who's coming in February. So we'll see how he's like, but I think Yukikaze is going to be more like Shoki over there. I think he's going to rely on inserts for the transparent plastic and stuff. But just a good figure. Really good, really poseable. Big meaty hands on him. Big massive clompers. Just a properly nice figure that is like quite tricky for the transformation. Really complicated. Masterpieces have been sort of... There's like a gulf between kind of simple masterpieces, like Reboost, Skids, Crosscut. Like, they're really easy to get the hang of. But these lads are a lot more complicated. And then there's still like a next level up from this, isn't there? Like, blooming Starscream and Optimus Prime, the most recent ones, are like just nightmares, apparently. That Starscream behind Skylinks there, absolute nightmare. Transformed it twice. One day I'm just going to sit down and challenge myself to do it again. But this guy, really good. Properly solid. I don't know if I advise getting on the Raiden train, as it were, to collect all these lads up, because it's going to be expensive, and the combined mode's not going to be worth it, is it? It's going to look messy. But you know what? They're good lads along the way. Consider it maybe. What I would like to see them do is if they do repaints of these guys, but make them look like theoretically what they would have looked like if they were released in the West, because they would have had colour changes, for sure. And especially if they were going to release them in like the early 90s, give them some like crazy fake G2 colours. That would be kind of neat. I think collectors would love that sort of thing. Please do it. Number 3. It's finally happened. We got a Generation 1 pink Hot Rod. This is the only time I have brought basically the exact same figure I already own. I tend to avoid repaints and stuff. And if I do get a repaint of one I've already got, I sell the other one. Like I got Lift Ticket a while ago, the Legacy Lift Ticket. Sold Hoist instantly. Didn't need it anymore. I'm not one for keeping repaints and stuff. But I'm kind of opening myself up to repaints a little bit. I've got right next to me here, I've got the Core Class Starscream and Skywarp, because I want the Core Class Seekers. So I'm opening myself up to the possibilities of repaints, and what a repaint this is. This thing's beautiful. Absolutely just the exact same figure you remember, just, cleaner and stuff. He's got 5mm ports in his hands now, which I think is something they've done before. But his gun also has like a thinner port on it. So I think you can actually still fit that in the original G1 Hot Rods hand. I can't bother to go over there and grab him. He's only like 3 foot behind me. But I had these both out side by side. It's nice. It's nice just looking at little differences in, the moulding and design, where they've used pins now instead of screws and things like that. Yeah, this is like fulfillment of like promises from years ago, because there was a pink hot rod in the catalogue originally and it never got released. Quality figure, well worth it. He's just come out. You can still order him pretty easily. There's a Starscream as well, which looks lovely. I might get the Starscream as well, even though I have the G1 Starscream. I might get that. There's a Hound coming as well, and I'll definitely get the Hound, because my G1 Hound is in a terrible state. If you go back to my first review on this channel, you'll see how much of a terrible state he is. But now, let's go on to the top 2. Oh, is this going to be a shock what my number 2 is? My number 2 is Starsaber. Yeah, I backed this lad on HasLab. That was silly of me. Last year, I had to sell a whole bunch of stuff to make sure I had the money to get Starsaber here, because Starsaber's been one of those elusive mysteries of Transformers history. Like this character we never had in the UK that was just like this intergalactic super space cool dude, the most heroic man in the world, the greatest sword man in the galaxy. And I just had to figure it. I had to get a figure. At TF Nation, I saw the G1 figure, held it in my hands briefly. And you know what? I mean, I don't have any desire to get the G1 figure. The Masterpiece, maybe. This lad's doing it for me. I've got very few issues with him. There's like one thing where like his legs are prone to coming undone at the side here. That's a bit irritating when you're trying to pose him up. His ankle tilt is like non-existent. It's like that. That's about all you get out of it. But there's very little other issues I have with it. I mean, just slight things like a little bit extra articulation here and there would have been nice. But then he's got elements of articulation that other figures don't get. He's got an ab crunch. He's got butterfly joints in his shoulder. He's got double butterfly joints. They go both ways. It's fantastic. And he can take his helmet off and do like he does in the cartoon when he just has his regular saber head underneath there. Fantastic. I would recommend you buy one, but you can't, can you? Without paying, what is it, going rate about 400, 500 quid right now? Oh, jeez. So yeah, just, well, you can't back Deathsaurus now. It's too late. You're screwed. Wait until the next time they do a Starsaber. They'll repaint another figure. I'm sorry. You should have backed this from the start. He is good though. Like the way look at the hand. See the hand there? You can see that little nubbin in the hand when you close it up. Boop. The little port for the gun pops in there. They thought of everything. There's a little detail I've not seen many people pick up on. You can put the blade from his sword inside his leg so it's stored away during transformation. They thought of everything with this figure. It is really good. And I'm lucky with the QC gods. The only issue I had, there's a tiny little bit of paint rub on his shoulders that you won't see on this video because this camera's too low quality. 1080p my arse. And like the Micromasters that came with it are a bit shite. Both of them have issues. I can't really transform them properly without something popping off in the process. You know what? This guy, and Victory Leo's good as well. But this guy especially is just fantastic. Terrible base mode, which is, par for the course of base modes, isn't it? Kind of funny. I might set up all the base modes at some point. I've got Black Zarak, I've got Motormaster, he's got a base mode, this has got a base mode. I should do a big old setup of all the base modes and, determine which one is the shitest. Starsaber is fantastic. I'm sorry if you couldn't put together the funds to order this. It was an expensive figure. Was the most expensive figure I have purchased ever. Until Deathsaurus happened and beat it by 10 quid. So, yeah. Who knows? I might go up next year because a collecting goal I've thought of for next year is I want to actually get a Holy Grail. Something rare. So, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, Starsaber. I think a lot of people are going to have this at the top of his lists. Or in his top 5. In their top 5 at least. He's great. Absolutely superb. Just what I wanted from a Starsaber figure. I had his ab crunch clipped a little bit. The little guy inside Saber's pretty good as well. Like, he'd make a good deluxe class figure on his own. Like, they could have sold that as its own thing. And there's definitely, like, a bit more to him than what I would consider a Commander class toy to be. Like, Skylynx is probably about similar sort of heft going on with him. But Skylynx isn't as complicated. This guy's got some complex bits going on. Not much, but just a little bit of complexity. But I would definitely say if they did him at retail, you wouldn't have got Victory Leo. You probably wouldn't have got all the accessories with it. Like, the stuff would have been cut down to make it a Commander class. And, They could sell the whole set as a Titan class, but would people be willing to buy a Titan class that isn't 2.5 foot tall? This as it stands, works really great. Fantastic figure. Beautiful, just premium feel to him. 11 out of 10. But what will be my number 1 out of 10? You might be surprised. It's what could be better than Star Saber? My number 1's leader class animated Bulkhead. This figure's fantastic. It is unlike anything else I have got in my collection. I think he's got gimmicks. Do you remember gimmicks on toys? His transformation is really clever and has a whole bunch of little smart tricks to it. The way everything, like the wheels fold away underneath here, the backle slides up, all these pieces panel together perfectly. He weighs a ton. He weighs probably more than Star Saber does. He has a spinning saw blade.
Sorry, my bad.
He talks to you. He comes with a head of the headmaster, and you put it on.
Time for the big gun.
No, do the voice. He comes with a headmaster head that you can put on there, which for some reason isn't triggering the total ownage line for me now. I don't know what I've done.
My bad.
I've done something. It is properly good. Let's get the head off there, buddy. Right. Articulation. Just listen to that. It's ratchets everywhere. This isn't Ratchet though. This is Bulkhead. Although it was called Ironhide in Japan. But yeah, you can turn these bits around and turn them into the chair, like in that one bit in the cartoon where he transforms into the chair. And yeah, this is the first animated figure I've ever got, because that was something I intended to do at TF Nation, was get my first Transformers animated lad. And I think I hit the jackpot here. I almost picked up a Prowl and instead saw this guy. God, 25 quid I think he was. Complete. In really good condition. Nick from Toy Fu is he just gives stuff away. They were selling taco tanks for 50 quid. Ridiculous. Animated leader class Bulkhead is just a pure enjoyable figure. Reminds me a lot of stuff like the Beast Wars lads like Optimus Primal and Megatron, where they're just all about, being playable, fun toys first, which I kind of got a little bit of that from Star Saber. He feels like a play set, Star Saber does, when you're getting that whole thing together, combining things, all that. Feels like a play set. I'm a 40-year-old man wanting a play set. But yeah, I wish they'd bring a little bit of this back. Just, sacrifice a bit of wrist swivel. Give me a buzzsaw, just anything. Just give me something like this. We're getting some gimmicks in the new Evo Fusion thing in Evolution. That's probably why I like Scraphook so much. But Bulkhead here, just absolutely just a glorious figure that feels fantastic to stand up and pose, and he looks the part. Look how much they got the animated aesthetic down on here. And his mouth opens and closes. He's got face animation, Geez, I'm definitely, next TF Nation, that's going to be another hunt. I'm going to look for more animated figures at TF Nation again. So I want to see him and hold him in my hands. I need an animated Hot Rod. That's definitely on the card. If I can get that Stunticon job set, that might be worth blowing my entire TF Nation budget on. Animated Bulkhead is my favourite figure I got this year. If you want, my favourite figure of 2022, what came out in 2022, then Star Saber. But my favourite figure of the year, animated Bulkhead. Let's put him down. He gets to stand down here. Stand up, buddy. So that was my top 15 figures, what I did purchase in 2022. There's a whole bunch of little lads that I could have mentioned as well, like Core Class Skywarp. He's alright, took a while to turn up, but I got him in the end, thanks In Demand Toys. They sent me a Shattered Glass Soundwave by accident. Just knocked him over. I got one of those, what are they called? Sky Scorchers. He's fun. All sorts of little figures that I picked up at TF Nation that I just, I got a really good haul from TF Nation, but you might have seen that video. A fantastic year for figures. I've done this top 15 and I've not included, the Jurassic Park set I got. They're there. I haven't included Black Zarak that's over there. That thing is massive. I still haven't transformed that into base mode. I've transformed it once because it's just unwieldy and huge. Victory Leo could have gone on the list. There's a whole bunch of figures I could have put on the list, but these were the 15 that I've probably spent the most time fiddling around with, and that is generally what I use as my bar for what will be my top figures of the year. Is the ones that I mess around with the most, that I feel compelled to grab and fiddle with. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a good New Year's and Christmas. Let me know in the comments what figures you got and stuff. I did do a thing on Twitter where I asked people to send me pictures of the figures they got for Christmas, and I blasted them all out, see what we all had. A lot of really cool figures there. A lot of people got like Holiday Optimus Prime. A lot of people got like a whole bunch of cool stuff for Christmas that I'm jealous of. I wish I had. I've got a Giaxus on the way to me apparently. Brentasaur has ordered me a Giaxus. So yeah, I'm assuming it might arrive early next week. Postage is a bit messed up right now. But anyway, thank you for watching. Go give Brentasaur a follow. He's a good lad. And yeah, thank you for watching videos this year, subscribing, gained a few subs on here in like the 5 videos I did this year. The Twitter account has grown from I think I had about 600 followers at the start of the year to nearly 1,700 now on Wild Will's hat. So give that a follow if you feel like. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Bye!